Hot,
Restart.
like I said, our fears leader hot rolls. I know he said some things that y'all didn't hear. What?
I'll say some things again. Yeah. Leader here, founder of Electric Vibes. Super excited to be here today alongside this incredible man Bromer and on top of this guy Black Hole. And yeah, I'm happy to be here on my first podcast and the premiere of Guest List. And yeah, we got a lot of things planned, a lot of things coming, and I'm stoked for projects that are rolling. So yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, yeah.
And Black Hole, you really didn't want to add anything to that. I said that you've been just our basically our resident DJ for the
No,
most part.
yeah, uh, I've been throwing down sets on the daily, or at least whenever I have the chance to. Uh, you know, uh, I discovered this community. I pretty much felt at home because I didn't know there were. I had only started using Discord about 5 months ago. So, and when I discovered a place that was all about dance music, I felt right at home.
Hell yeah.
Perfect, man. Like, I'm glad to have you. Like, man, I love some of your sets. Like, you really know how to fit the vibe so well.
Yeah, and when nobody's playing music, Black Hole's always the guy that's like, you know what? I'm gonna go throw down in the med tent, and he'll play for like 3 hours, and regardless if anybody joins, you getting down. You always
Mm-hmm.
bringing that energy. I fuck with it.
Hell yeah. But get to know Black Hole a little bit, kind of throw him out there, be like, hey, if you see him in the med tent or any of the stream, anything, and he says live, definitely pop in because he's amazing. But so it just get to know you a little bit, man. Like when let's just say you had a dream artist to collaborate with, who would that be?
Um, well, the artist that inspired me to get into this, get into producing, get into DJing, was Hardwell initially. Uh, that would that would have definitely been my dream collab, but well, I mean, it still could be, just not DJing because he quit touring back in 2017. But since he's still producing, I guess there's still a chance of that happening. Um, yeah, that
That'd be pretty
Wait,
cool.
Hardwell? Like
yeah.
I remember listening to him way back when
Way back on the G.
he was Jesus. He's like he was one of my favorite at a time because he was just always throwing down such hard hitting tracks, but then he would go into house or something.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
I actually
he's
have something that, I mean, I've known you for like a month or so now, and I know that you have some knowledge of like medical stuff and um, stuff like that. So like, where did you get that information from? Like, did you learn that in school, or
um
is that just
well
like
they
your own research?
uh well partially, well, mostly, my family is full of like people in the medical field. um Not a lot of it was from school, um, much because most of the stuff that I ended up learning, I already knew from like textbooks that I read of like my mom's when she was going to college. Like I would read her
Yeah,
textbooks that she brought back, and from a young age, I kind of was interested in that sort of thing. Like I would go to thrift shops and buy like old medical textbooks and like physicians' desk references that were like this
that's
thick,
pretty
and this
dope.
has the
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's
true.
fire.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's what's
pretty
up.
much you're not you're
Um,
self taught so to speak.
I'm savvy, but oh, darn it. I may be savvy at understanding how humans work, but I'm not very savvy when it comes to computers, which a lot of people are like usually the opposite way around. Like they think computers would be more understandable than.
Yeah, well, we're in a big shift with technology, like especially with all the streams and stuff that's going on, like
Mm-hmm.
all these softwares that allow you to like stream to like 10 platforms at once, and just the depth that's starting to take over with technology is insane.
Not only
And
that, like a lot of people grow up with just their phone in their hand, like at least nowadays. So
yeah,
people are
100%.
face to face really isn't a thing anymore. It's a lot more just Shoot me a text. We'll talk about it over text.
We act-
Interface.
Yep.
Yeah.
we live in the most connected time in history, but yet statistically, actually more people feel lonely than ever before. Which
Yeah.
I don't know
Mhm.
if that's definitely an interesting
There's definitely a
concept,
connection
or
to
not
that.
concept, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a disconnect from like real life interaction, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, it's definitely different.
Like it is nice at the end of the day. Like if you really think about the bigger picture of like, I would have never met any of you guys if it wasn't for technology.
Yeah, for
So it
sure.
really does bring people together, but it also drives people apart face to
Yeah,
face.
if I didn't
100%.
discover this quarantine would have driven me insane by now.
Oh,
I would have
yeah,
been
dude.
having
Like,
I would have had a beach ball, drawn a face on, name it Wilson, like Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, Castaway.
straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, like
uh,
we've always had our problems, and at least with the quarantine, like it did suck, but most of us did figure out we have a community here we always can just fall back on.
Definitely made it a lot better. And now that, people are starting to work again and people are starting to reconnect with like real life, you still see people pop in here and there just to say hey. And, whenever you're around late at night at your laptop or your computer, people can just come say hey because we are a family,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
mhm.
nice to be a part of something like this. So, yeah.
But even keeping with that, how do you think the internet did affect the music industry? Such as like, did it help it by just letting more people get the music, or did it hurt it by driving people farther apart, so to speak?
I well, I would never say music in any circumstance would drive people apart. That's if anything, more people having access to different kinds of music brought different cultures together that probably didn't connect before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I I think it just spread different art forms to places that how I phrase this. It music can be. I mean, even music in a different language can be under. You don't have to understand the language. It transcends language boundaries and cultural boundaries. I think um, it definitely helped it by, like you said, bringing more people together and showing people uh, different cultures.
Yeah, I completely agree. I
Oh,
think
go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
I think one of the one downfalls with just a lot of artists kind of moving to the internet, or at least for now, is there's just a shitload of competition. So like while it is good that communities can come together, to support, the people that they support, like it's really, really tough for a lot of these smaller artists to get recognition and to, be heard through like Twitch and all these other platforms because there are so many artists, that are trying to stream and that are trying to get their work out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, like you just said, there are people who like you would never with that. Like I feel like a few of these like bigger festivals are really, yes, they're nice because it's like, oh, people love these guys, but without the smaller festivals, we probably would have never heard of guys that we had on our show last night, like Rain, Super Soldier, Do Badly.
100%.
I'm
And that's what
I'm
we're all about.
I'm not even trying to say the last one's name because I know I'll butcher it.
But yeah, no, for sure. Like I've discovered so many artists, even like Black Hole. Like Black Hole came into our community and just thought he was a regular guy. And then he started playing mixes and I was like, yo, this guy's kind of good. He's got good taste and he can spin. And then I found out that he's played shows and I was like, okay, this guy's cool. Like, it's dope. And it's nice to, find some of these artists that just come out of nowhere and shock
Mhm.
you. Like the big people aren't the only ones with talent, man. Like there's a shitload of artists out here. And
Yeah.
it's nice that you have like access to discover them. Aside from just like SoundCloud and stuff.
Wait, Black Hole, you used to play shows like before quarantine?
Yeah,
Wait,
I started my first show was actually back in 20 actually no 2014.
really?
Um, yeah. Um, I was opening for Dioro actually. They had a thing where you could. It was a pay to play kind of gig.
Oh, okay.
Um, where basically I think it was just to get newer art, give newer artists a chance to play a larger event. I mean, I have my own opinion on the idea of pay to play, but it's like it overall it did give, like I just said, me a chance to play my first show, my very first gig in general, which was at a concert venue.
How did
Um,
how did that kind of feel like just going on stage for your first time and not really knowing how the crowd would react?
it to be honest, there wasn't much of a crowd. I when I was given an option of time slots to choose, and
Mhm.
I didn't have a concept of like what time slots would be the best ones and which ones would be the worst ones. And for some reason, I chose the earliest time slot.
Hey, there's
There's
I
no
mean, you
no
started
wonder
it.
when I started.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to start the
yeah,
show, man.
dude. Like sometimes like the opener is like my favorite part of the
Dude,
show.
props to the openers, dog. They break all of the ice. You know, you that's the feeler, dude.
They get the crowd in the
That's
mood.
fucking right.
And the other thing was, crap, and I'm afraid to admit this. I don't do this anymore, but I was so afraid that things were going to go wrong that I had a pre-recorded set.
That
Oh,
makes
there ain't
sense.
nothing wrong with that.
I would
Um,
be I would be super nervous. What's up, roommate?
he's like Mouse. I'm like I'm on a podcast, bruh. Please. No, but pre-record like there's nothing wrong with pre-record sets. In all honesty, like even if you have it, you still did it, and you still get to
Yeah,
see
I
the
mean,
crowd
yeah,
reaction.
you're still showing, you know, you're displaying your artwork, you're showcasing your artwork. It's, you know, people are back and forth about it, but ultimately you did create that, so
It's,
it is what it is.
I mean, nowadays when I'm playing live, looking back on it, it just feels so. I don't want to use the word disingenuous, unauthentic, I guess to me,
Yeah.
but that's my
No,
personal feeling on it.
I could see
You
that.
know, I don't think the venue had a good opinion on it either, to be completely honest, because at the end, they usually take pictures of like all the openers for that event, and like they would put them up. Uh, they would put them up on the website.
Hmm.
They had at least one picture of every opener except for me. So I don't know what
Yes.
happened. Maybe it was just a mistake or something like that. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
shit like that happens though. Like
Mhm.
even if you look at some of the stuff we've done, we've gone through how many different flyers in a week? Because
Too
it's like
many.
somebody's like, oh, we have this person. Oh, they just said no, we're good. We ain't gonna do it anymore. All right, remake the
But
entire flyer.
but
It's a lot of moving parts, and
the
we're just scraping the surface. So, yeah.
the, the pre-record set wasn't even the cringiest part. My It was probably the name that I picked. The very first artist name out of like the three that uh, the out of the two that I had to go through before I got to this one, and kind of settled with this one.
Did you use the Wu Tang Clan name generator?
No, DJ Reverbs with a Z and the E as a three.
Okay.
All
I
right.
mean, I get it. I get it. That's just like for
It's
all
a
my gamers. That's
yeah.
anybody's like first gamer tag. You know, like you gotta start
It's the
somewhere.
one
Like the
Xbox
X's,
gave me.
yeah. Like fucking default Dolphin 36. Like just some weird stuff. But
Sometimes
hey,
my oh, oh, I was just gonna lastly say that some people, friends that I see, who I went to high school with, are just like, "Hey, Reaper!" Like, even though they know, like it, like I,
no, I'm definitely gonna call you Reverbs from now on. No, I'm not gonna do that to you.
No, but how did you settle on Black Hole? Like, it's such a unique name that people are like, you would think somebody would have taken that because it's just like Black hole.
Black
Yeah, I
hole,
suck
dude.
you in. It's what you
Straight
do.
up.
I'll listen to your set, and you're like,
You about
okay,
to get
clock.
drawn in it, and I'm
I get in there
gonna.
at like 5 o'clock. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, it's 10 o'clock. How the hell did you just suck my ass in that hard?
Straight up, dude.
I don't know. I one of my like smaller side interests were like space and like the anomalies there, and I thought black holes are cool. And then I thought that a lot of artists, they kind of take a word and then they remove like a few letters and just leave enough so that you can recognize what the word is. And
That's dope.
I kind of just messed with it a little bit until I got BLKHLE. And I was like, oh, I think this makes sense. I mean, some people were like, Blackley? It's like, no.
So
I'm not.
I have a question for you, and this is I guess globally, but if there was one music festival you could play, which music festival would you choose to play? No specific details, just being a part of the lineup. Like, where do you see yourself fit most?
Gosh.
That's a
Oh,
tough one.
Jeez, like, how you could
Like,
drop that on a man?
would you go for more of like a Tomorrowland kind of thing, or would you go for more
I
of like a smaller festival?
Or even like a Los
Ultra
Angeles?
Miami.
Yeah.
Which
What was
one?
it?
Ultra Music Festival Miami
Ultra? I feel that.
UMF, I could dig.
Yeah.
in
I
7
did I
stages.
do know that. Okay, I don't know if I'm tripping, but wasn't there like some spew with Ultra about like ticket refunds or something? Or am I tripping?
I haven't heard
I
anything.
No?
I no, I didn't
Just
hear
like off topic, but
I
like
haven't heard anything.
okay, cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ultra's sick. I've been wanting to go to Ultra. Ultra's pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
yeah. Um I I always watch every year. I watch the live stream.
Mhm.
I started again. I first started watching it when I was watching a Hardwell set, the one that eventually got me inspired to go down this path, and then I just kept on watching it purely for his set every year. Um, yeah, kind of sad that pandemic kind of stopped
Wait,
Ultra
wait,
this
Yeah.
wait.
year.
They didn't even offer. Okay, Drew just said something very important in chat about what we were talking about UMF. They didn't refund their tickets, and they just said we're postponing it.
Mm. Yeah.
So
I knew I heard something about it.
that's kind of
I
like
knew.
That's like a major like yeah, I'd want to
Yeah.
go this year, but I can't next year because I have all this stuff. Like, you have
Yeah.
to offer a refund. God damn it,
Yeah.
you have.
It's just it's tough too because honestly, I don't know much about organizing real festivals and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
like honestly, I mean
Especially when
some you know organizations and people that put those things on like might bank off of ticket sales to like get their money back, like
Mm-hmm.
so they might have just took the lick and said, we don't care. And that's unfortunate, but that's just how business rolls sometimes.
I
It
would under
I don't respect it
just
or agree with it,
No,
but yeah.
I
I would
did.
understand that kind of move if they gave specific details as um like I it would be more understandable, not actually completely understandable if they were giving them, but they're giving them no details on when it's postponed till, um, and it's just
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
there's
Yeah,
no security.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, they always could also sell their tickets on eBay, like somebody said. You
Yeah,
can
there's
always
ways
just
around
sell
it.
them. I mean, that does. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but
You'll
there's a way.
figure it out. It'll
Yeah.
work out. It'll work out.
But back on
Then, yeah.
topic, Black Hole. When you were young, what kind of music did you listen to? Like, where were you at in life?
I didn't have any taste when I was a kid. It was probably whatever my mom had playing in the car or on the way to school. or my now that's what I call music 8 CD that had In Sync and
I
Britney
feel that.
Spears.
You're telling me
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
still don't
We
bump?
Um,
I've been through that.
You're telling me you don't bump in sync to this day still? Come on, man. I'll admit,
I might.
I bump in sync and Backstreet Boys every day.
It's gonna be me is still a good song. uh, but yeah, I had no music taste up until like 2012, I think. But I did discover Linkin Park at like in
Mm,
like 2008 or 2007. So I
some
mean, I
Linkin
guess
Park.
Yeah.
there's some. Yeah,
When
that's good music taste at least.
so you said you started like in 2014 with the EDM thing. That was like your first show? I
Yeah.
think you said. What when did you like really start diving into like the full culture of EDM?
Um, Probably the next year, the next summer, I downloaded Fruity Loops on the desktop. Uh, we had I had just moved in. Me and my mom had just moved into a new house, and I just I think DJing was something that I enjoyed doing, but I think when really started getting into the production aspect, I felt a bit more immersed in it. Like
Hmm.
um, I don't know, involved in the music a bit more, and
Mm-hmm.
found it more fulfilling to definitely do both. Um, I I also that was around the time where I started realizing that if I wanted to find, um, well, actually, I'm gonna add this because this kind of funnels into it. I if my way of discovering new songs is I don't follow specific artists or like a certain genre. I'll follow labels instead of like certain artists because I realize that labels usually have a level of quality that they will keep for all of their releases, and
Mm-hmm.
through that you'll find artists with that quality, and then follow those artists and label and it will kind of branch out from there. And I would like religiously, like every Friday, I would check like the Spinnin' Records page or like the and definitely Revealed Recordings, Hardwell's label, of course. Um, and I would just like listen to every song that would come out. I think that's when I really started getting into the community. Was came Music kind of became my religion from that point onwards.
Hell yeah. That's what's up.
About that.
Yeah.
About
I,
that.
I remember I never really did do with a lot of labels, but Monster Cat. I was like a diehard Monster Cat fan for like a year straight. Just all I would do was religiously listen to Monster Cat releases. And dude, they're amazing, man. Monster Cat is incredible.
They're still dropping bangers like
I think
Mm-hmm.
I think Monster Cat was the first label I ever started listening to because my very first rave that I ever went to was Cruella featuring Pegboard Nerds as an
Damn.
opener.
Monster Cat.
Jeez.
It was on there that I think it was their Get Wet tour. That was pretty cool. That definitely for a first rave
Yeah,
having
that's
those
that's
guys.
legit.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll blow you out the water.
We should dive head first. My first one was Excision. Dude,
Jesus.
I cannonball. That was not the best move.
Yeah.
Now I gotta hear Hot Rolls. I gotta
I
hear
I
this.
definitely like tiptoed into it. Like I started off with like local shows, and even then, like they weren't that big of names. Like I yeah. So I definitely, it was a progression for sure, and it wasn't even intentional. It
Hmm.
just kind of happened. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean we've all been in that situation though. Like we're just trying to get into a new genre of music. Either you cannonball or you tiptoe in. There's really no, oh, I'm kind of into it, but I'm
Mm-mm.
not. Like it's you're full send or you're not.
And now,
You
like
know,
especially for like ravers and like or beginning ravers, like a lot of this like deep bass, like deep dark and dangerous stuff is kind of coming up, and there's a lot more like I feel like bass music that's like rising up, and some genres are falling off. So it's just cool to see how the industry changes too. You know, it kind of just recycles. Everything just, you know, kind of always comes back into play.
Yeah, definitely. But so with talk of genre, Black Hole, where do you kind of put yourself in genre? Because I know you like to switch your different genres up. What would be your favorite subgenre, like bullshittery of EDM?
Favorite subgenre, probably the one that's a toss up between two that I'm thinking of right now. It has to be either electro house or I don't know whether it'd be considered progressive trance or uplifting trance, but I'm talking about like the Anjuna Beats, uh, Anjuna Beats, a state of trance kind of stuff.
I know what you're talking about because like
Mm-hmm.
I would say like prog trance, like progressive trance would be more of like the LS Dreams, like where it's industrial and they're just trying to really go forward. I don't know. I agree with the
Probably,
other one you
I
said. Not
think uplifting is probably the
yeah, that's probably the correct term.
uplifting.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah, Above and Beyond, Armin van Buuren. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. All incredible
I used to
artists.
listen to I used to listen to ASOT like every Thursday. Like I was in high school and like I so I went to a project based school where instead of like regular classes we did like research projects for our credit and I somehow BS'd my way into doing a project on how music affects the brain, like to get a science credit, just so I could listen to a state of trance whenever I wanted to. In class, like, and it was all on computers
yeah.
in the school. So um,
What did you
it,
find in that? Because I'm kind of curious. Like, did you find that there was a
I
kind
mean,
of correlation?
it, I, I, I wish I could go back and find that research paper. It's somewhere. It, if I can find it, like I remember my old school login on Google Drive. I might be able to find it, but they've probably like gotten rid of that by now.
That would be
Um,
really cool
That would be
if
dope
you
to
could
yeah,
read.
find that.
I
Because
yeah,
That would be intense, dude, to go back and like read an old paper like that and something that, you know, means something to you. Like that would be really cool. I would definitely try to recover that if you really think you could.
yeah, definitely.
Um, I mean, obviously, I found that music is very powerful, very, uh, very. It has, how do I phrase this? It has very powerful effects on the brain. It can, if you're, obviously, if you're in the worst mood possible, you could listen to your favorite song or the perfect song for that mood, and it'll bring you right back out of it. Or uh, and it I've always found it strange how when I'm depressed I can listen to a depressing song and it actually like make me feel better, but I think that's just because it's like,
It comforts you, like you can relate to it.
yeah, like, oh, I'm not alone in this experience, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, you know. A good cry to your favorite sad song never hurts,
Yeah, you
definitely.
need that.
I'm not gonna lie. I still pop on 2000 sad punk music, like sad boy punk. I still throw that shit
Hell
on. I
yeah.
love it.
It's
Hell
weird because
yeah.
I actually don't think I cry anymore except to music. Actually, it's kind of weird.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it'll
Um,
definitely pull it out of you sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it now. Sorry. Ugh. Yeah.
Be-
No, that's.
Yeah.
I would love to read that article because, like, even the paper, because it just seems like you're so far into it now that to read that, even back X amount of years, like, that would just so be incredible to see, like, where you were and just kind of reflect to see, like, where you've moved to.
I don't know if y'all are familiar with I forget the name of the show, but it's the two main guys and they're always trying to test like scientific theories. Um
Mythbusters?
Mythbusters. And
Wow.
wow,
yeah,
wow.
they did a project and it was about how music affects plant growth and I don't remember like what genres affected which plant, but like I'm pretty sure the results like remain consistent and like music actually affected the growth of the plants, which is like insane to think about. And I would actually love to like go back and like look at that video
Well, I mean, yeah.
because yeah.
At the end of the day, it is pushing any carbon monoxide over them, so it's just like talking to them. Like
Mhm.
if you look at it from like the super scientific aspect. But if,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's probably. I'd imagine it probably have something to do with like the vibrations and frequencies of
Yeah.
music. Yeah. Um, I'd definitely like to look into that a bit more. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, that was like years and years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I didn't really understand it at the time. But yeah, music's cool.
I do have a. How would you feel if a contraband you said, "Hey, we're trying to do something for the deaf community. Would you want to do a show?"
I I would because I remember a few years back, Martin Garrix, I believe, I
Mm-hmm.
think he did some kind of event for the deaf where it was like they. I don't know if it was like some kind of equipment. Um, they had some kind of special equipment. I think they focused mainly on the bass
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
or something. It, I need to go back and find that, but that definitely would be a awesome experience, in the fact that it just would be interesting. Um, it,
It.
yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely would.
It's that's something that's always amazed me. It's like even though yes they can't physically hear all the music, they still understand it and they can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it for sure.
And that's just amazing. Like most people
Mhm.
don't think like, hey, yeah, that's a thing.
There's orchestras that do that. There's
Wait, what?
I did a research project on it like a few months ago for my music class, but yeah, there's orchestras that dedicate their shows to working with deaf people, and what they'll do is they'll let some of the audience sit next to some of the performers, and they'll even let some of them like touch pieces of the instruments while they're playing to like truly feel all of the vibrations. And yeah, super cool.
That's
Super cool
insane.
that there's orchestras out there that like devote their shows to deaf audiences. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really cool.
the audible frequencies are only part of what makes music music. There's
I mean, you're not wrong. Like there is a lot that goes into it, of course. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's not at the basic is a basic. It's super simple. It's just vibrating the air to do something different than just talk.
Mhm.
But
I have one last question to ask you, Black Hole. The next mix that you work on, what genre are you gonna throw at us? Because I know you work with a lot of genres. I know I've personally heard you do a bunch of different sets. So at least for our community, give us a little something, you know. I know you actually have a mix that you're gonna play after this, but yeah, because I know you were doing your SoundCloud. Don't you do like a SoundCloud thing, like where you
yeah,
like a SoundCloud
my
series?
premium. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was. Well, I'm going to start it back up because I don't know. I took a tad bit of a. I When I discovered Discord, I was still uploading, but I got so into playing the mixes live here that I almost completely forgot about it. And then I realized my SoundCloud Pro Unlimited ran out, which I just renewed it, so I can start uploading mixes again.
Hell yeah.
well, hell
Uh,
yeah.
but the first part of your question, you guys kind of froze there for a second. You said, you know, I play a lot of genres, but like
Mm-hmm.
in the next, you said in the next mix, and then you kind of froze
Yeah,
there.
like what where do you plan on heading like with your next mix? Like do you like when you do mixes, do you kind of wing them or do you like
Depends on my mood.
yeah, okay. I feel that.
Um, more off. Yeah, it just really depends on my mood. If I'm in a better mood, I'll probably put on. Well, actually, yeah,
Really just depends on how you're feeling. I feel that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But
yeah.
one last thing before we do go to the mix and wrap everything up. What would you say to any young people who are trying to get into DJing, producing? What would you like your one bit of advice that says, "Hey, I got you. This is how I started."
I would say you don't need when it comes to DJing, or producing, you don't need all the all the equipment right away. I mean, you could just start out with just like I'm not kidding. I started off with just my computer and a laptop. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And playing a school dance with no tables, and just like just an aux input, or you download FL Studio or GarageBand or whatever your first DAW is, and I mean, people have asked me before, what tutorials should I watch for DJing? What tutorials should I watch for producing? And I say personally, I just played around with the software, just experimented
Mm-hmm.
until I kind of figured it out. Um, one other thing I'd like to mention for the DJs out there, um, recently this question kind of got to me, and I was curious about, so I asked around and looked around the web on opinions on it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to use the sync button. My opinion, I sync syncing is 90% of what DJing is, but 10% of what makes you a good DJ.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't match BPM or anything, like yeah, you're just what better are you than a radio?
Yeah, I think it gives. I think occasionally using it gives me more time to do more creative things while mixing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Black Hole, do you want to plug anything like your Twitch, your SoundCloud?
Plug up.
Um, be, be sure to if you enjoy this mix that's coming up, be sure to check into my SoundCloud. Just pretty much type in BLKHLE into the search bar. It'll probably come up there. I don't think there are any other artists with that name from what I've seen. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy this next 45-minute mix.
Yep.
Thank
All
you
right.
for being with us, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to start switching up your other screen, or if you're gonna do that, do whatever you're gonna do just to
Yep.
get ready, because we're about to switch.
Yep.
This has
Give me
been.
about 3 minutes here.
Yep, you're good. This has been our first episode of the guest list, guys. If there's any DJs who do want to try to come on, even producers, more than happy
I
to
see
have
Daddy
you.
Mark. I see Kramex.
That guy is not allowed on our show.
Hmm.
I don't want chat running wild. No, Danny Mark, if you want to come on. Like, if anybody wants to, just hit us up. We're at Electric Vibes. This has been the guest list, and we're about to switch over to Black Hole. So prepare to get some sucked in.
Yeah, sucky suck.
Peace out, guys.
Later.